There's a quiet strength that belongs to those who are chosen for something greater. It's not about superiority, it's about responsibility, a deeper sense that your life carries meaning beyond the ordinary rhythm of day. If you're one of those people who feel this inner pull, a fire that refuses to go out even when life tries to drown it, you must understand this truth. Not everything about your journey is meant to be revealed. There are certain things you must keep hidden, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. Because what is sacred must be protected, and what is powerful must be preserved. When you carry a vision, when something divine or extraordinary is brewing inside you, not everyone around you will recognize it. Some will misunderstand it, others will question it, and a few will even try to break it. It's not because they're evil, but because not everyone can see through your lens. When you start revealing too much, too soon, you give room for opinions, doubts, and negative energy to invade what was once pure and personal. The seed of greatness grows best in. Before a tree pierces the sky, its roots must first grow deep in darkness, unseen, unknown, and untouched. That's how it becomes strong enough to stand the storm. You must learn to protect your purpose the same way. The chosen ones are often tested not by failure, but by exposure. The moment you start telling everyone what you're building, what you're dreaming, what you're planning, you invite voices that will start telling you why it won't work. Not all negativity comes from enemies. Sometimes it comes from the well-meaning, the curious, or the insecure. Every great story has a quiet beginning. Every empire starts in a whisper, and every miracle is born in privacy. That's why your silence is not emptiness, it's preparation. We live in a world obsessed with noise. Everyone wants to announce their goals, their moves, their success, and their pain. But the chosen ones understand that mystery is a form of power. When you keep people guessing, you keep your focus clear. When you stop explaining yourself, you stop giving people permission to judge your path. There's a calm confidence that comes when you no longer need validation to move forward. The chosen are not driven by applause, they're driven by purpose. Sometimes silence hurts because it feels like hiding, but it's not hiding, it's healing. You are not retreating, you are refining. The more you stay silent about what matters most, the louder your results will speak when the time comes. People might call you distant, private, or even secretive. But what they won't understand is that silence is your strategy. Every time you withhold something sacred, you protect it. Every time you resist the urge to announce, you give your vision the space to grow wings. You see, destiny doesn't need a witness to be real. It only needs your commitment. When you share everything too early, you allow people's fears to contaminate your faith. They might not mean harm, but their words can plant seeds of doubt that weaken your focus. So keep your dreams close to your chest. Let them breathe, let them mature, let them surprise the world when the time is right. There is a divine timing to everything, and the chosen ones understand that their silence is not a pause, it's a preparation for impact. The art of being chosen is learning how to be comfortable in secrecy. You don't need to explain your growth, your moves, or your mindset. Some things are between you and the one who chose you, between you and the voice inside that keeps saying, I keep going when no one else believes. You owe no explanation for protecting your peace, because the moment you allow too many voices into your life, you lose the sound of your words. So hold your plans like treasures, guard your dreams like delicate glass, and remember, the higher you rise, the fewer people should have access to your heart. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table, especially when they don't understand the value of your purpose was not built for public consumption. It was designed for fulfillment, not performance. If you are chosen, silence is your shield. Humility is your power and wisdom is your compass. The loudest person in the room is not always the strongest. Often, it's the one who speaks least and observes most. You can't control what others think, but you can control what you reveal. And that control, that discipline of privacy, is the difference between those who last. When you know you carry something extraordinary, you don't waste energy trying to prove it. You just keep building, keep believing, and keep becoming. The day will come when your silence will speak louder than any announcement you could have made. And those who once doubted you will realize that you weren't being quiet because you were unsure. You were quiet because you were unstoppable. One of the hardest lessons for anyone with a calling, a purpose, or a dream to learn is this: not everyone who claps for you is truly happy for you. When you are chosen, when you carry something rare inside you, your light will naturally attract attention. But attention is not always admiration. Sometimes it's curiosity, sometimes it's envy, and sometimes it's quiet competition disguised as support. The more you grow, the more you will realize that discernment is not optional, it's essential. Knowing who to trust, what to share, and when to speak is a form of spiritual intelligence that protects your peace and preserves your purpose. When your vision starts to expand, your circle must evolve. The people who once understood you may no longer relate to the version of you that's emerging. Some will drift away because your growth exposes their comfort zones. Others will try to hold on not because they want to see you win, but because they fear being left behind. That's why the chosen must be careful about where they pour their energy. Not everyone who smiles at you is safe, and not every shoulder that you cry on is sincere. The chosen must master the art of observation without accusation, to watch patterns, not just promises. There is a certain quiet wisdom that comes with learning to keep your struggles private. When you speak too soon about your pain, people may offer sympathy but not solutions. Some will pretend to care, only to use your vulnerability as gossip later. Privacy is not about pride, it's about protection. Your inner battles are sacred. They are meant to shape you, not entertain others. The chosen understand that every challenge carries a message meant for them. And not everyone deserves to hear that message before it's complete. The same rule applies to your plans. The more detailed your vision, the more you should protect. Announcing every step before it's stable invites interference. People project their fears, their failures, and their limits onto others. They don't always do it maliciously. Sometimes it's just human nature. But when you reveal too much too early, you risk letting those projections infect your purpose. Some people can't see your future because they're still trapped in their past. That's why the chosen must move in silence, not because they're hiding, but because they're building something that noise can destroy. Even your blessings deserve privacy. When you start to rise, when life begins to favor you, when doors open that once seemed locked or rushed to announce. The world loves a success story, but it also loves to dissect it. The more visible your success, the more invisible your peace must become. People will interpret your blessings through their own insecurities. Some will cheer, some will question, and some will silently compete. Protect your joy from those who only notice you when you're shining. Real supporters don't need to see everything. They trust that you're working. They believe in your vision, even in silence. There's an unspoken truth about elevation. The air gets thinner the higher you go. Not everyone can breathe where you're headed. The chosen often outgrow environments before they outgrow people. You might feel guilty for creating distance, but growth demands. When you start to operate on a higher frequency, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually, those who still operate on survival mode may not understand your peace, your silence, or your focus. That's okay. You don't need to convince them. Just keep walking your path. The chosen are not meant to be understood by everyone. They are meant to stay aligned with their purpose, even when it means standing alone. The chosen don't reveal every move. They move with purpose. There's strength in mystery, in letting people see the outcome, but not the process. Because your process is where your power lies. It's where you make mistakes, learn, rebuild, and transform. That sacred space should be kept away from spectators. When you are too open with your process, you invite opinions that can paralyze your progress. The greatest builders, inventors, and thinkers in history understood the value of silence. They didn't brag. They worked. They didn't argue. They proved. That's what separates those who talk about success from those who actually achieve it. A quiet plan is stronger than a loud intention. Noise attracts distraction. Silence attracts focus. When you protect your energy from unnecessary exposure, you amplify your result. You begin to notice how much more creative, calm, and clear you become when your life stops being public property. Privacy gives you power. When nobody knows your next move, nobody can block it. When nobody knows your weak spots, nobody can exploit them. And when nobody knows your strategy, nobody can sabotage it. The chosen understand that their journey is not about proving, it's about progressing. They don't waste time trying to impress others. They invest time in becoming. They know that the loudest achievements are often built in the quietest seasons. When people see your success later, they'll call it luck. But you'll know it was discipline, consistency, and so guard your energy the way a king guards his. Protect your dreams the way a mother protects her child. Keep your struggles sacred and your plans private. Don't let anyone guilt you for being selective. Not everyone deserves access to your inner world. The chosen are not meant to live for the approval of others. They are meant to live for the fulfillment of their calling. When you stop explaining yourself, you start elevating yourself. And when you master silence, you become unstoppable. Chosen ones often walk through life feeling a quiet tension between wanting to be understood and needing to stay protected. It's a strange balance, the desire to share your truth with the world, while knowing that doing so might expose parts of you that aren't ready to be handled by everyone. There's a sacred strength in silence that most people will never understand. The more purpose you carry, the more privacy you need. Because not everyone who listens can handle what your heart holds, and not everyone who watches deserves to see your process. When life sets you apart, it's not to isolate you, it's to insulate you. You're not being cut off from people, you're being covered for a reason. Every vision has a private season. Every purpose requires a period of protection. The chosen ones must learn when to speak and when to stay still, when to express and when to observe. Because your words carry weight and your silence carries wisdom. There are parts of your life that are not meant for public display. Your spiritual strength, your wounds, your pain, your strategy, your heart. These are the treasures that define you, and not everyone is worthy of holding them. The world has become addicted to exposure. People document every emotion, every thought, every move, as if silence is a weakness. But for the chosen, silence is sacred. It's the space where you hear your own voice clearly. It's where you receive clarity about what to do next. It's where your energy recharges. The chosen are not silent because they have nothing to say. They are silent because they are too wise to waste their words. Every time you reveal your inner world to the wrong person, you give them power they didn't earn. You hand over pieces of your peace to people who may not protect it. That's why discernment is more valuable than knowledge. Knowing who deserves access to your thoughts is as important as knowing what those thoughts are. Your purpose is not meant to be debated or diluted by opinions that lack understanding. The more sacred your calling, the fewer explanations you owe. The truth is, being chosen can feel lonely at times. You'll often walk paths others don't see, hear things others don't understand, and carry weights others couldn't bear. And in those moments, you'll realize that privacy isn't about secrecy. It's about survival. When you share your vision too early, it becomes vulnerable to external influence. When you tell people your next move, you give them a chance to interfere intentionally or not. Protect your progress by keeping your process quiet. You don't owe the world the front row seat to your transformation. There's a reason why powerful people often move in silence. It's not arrogance, it's awareness. They understand that too much exposure can weaken momentum. They don't announce their every step because they know real progress happens in private. When you learn to master your emotions and guard your inner peace, you gain control over your life. You stop reacting to noise. You stop seeking approval. You stop wasting energy explaining your why. The chosen ones live by this truth. Not everything that is felt must be spoken, and not everything that is seen must be shown. Your peace is your power, and peace cannot coexist with constant exposure. The more you grow, the more selective you must become about what you share and who you share it with. There are people who will use your openness as ammunition. There are those who will celebrate your struggles, not your strength. But when you remain mysterious, when you guard your energy, they can't predict your moves. Mystery disarms manipulation. Silence confuses gossip. Privacy builds authority. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You don't have to explain why you're changing, why you're quiet, or why you've distanced yourself. Growth doesn't require an audience. Sometimes disappearing for a while is the most powerful statement you can make. The chosen understand that separation is not rejection, it's direction. When you're set apart, you're being refined for something greater. And that refinement often happens away from applause, away from validation, and away from noise. Silence teaches patience. It reminds you that timing is everything. Just because something is true doesn't mean it's time to reveal it. Some blessings need to be hidden until they are strong enough to survive the spotlight. Some dreams need solitude to solidify. The chosen know that the longer something stays underground, the stronger its foundation becomes. So stay still while you grow. Stay quiet while you build. Stay patient while your destiny takes shape. There's power in not reacting. There's power in walking away without explaining. There's power in letting your success speak for you. You don't have to convince anyone of who you are. You just have to become it. The moment you stop chasing validation, you start attracting respect. People may question your silence now, but they'll admire your results later. Silence is not emptiness, it's energy being redirected into creation. If you know you're chosen, protect your mind, guard your heart, and value your peace. Your silence is your armor. It shields you from unnecessary battles. Your discernment is your sword. It cuts through deception. You are not meant to fit in. You are meant to stand firm. You don't need everyone to understand you. Only those meant to walk beside you will. The rest were never supposed to. So live quietly, move wisely, and build deeply. Let your actions echo louder than your announcements. Let your peace make more noise than your words ever could. The chosen ones aren't loud because they don't have to be. Their life itself becomes the message, strong, silent, and unstoppable. Here's your 800-word impactful conclusion full of motivational dialogue for your speech. If you are God's chosen ones, never reveal these 5 things to anyone. Let me speak to you heart to heart. You have been chosen, yes, chosen. Not by chance, not by accident. Not because of what you've done in this moment, but because there is something deep inside you that the world is not yet ready to understand. And being chosen means walking a path different from others. It means carrying a weight that only you can bear. But it also means carrying a light only you can share. And with that light comes responsibility. The responsibility to guard it, protect it, and nurture it until the time is right. Listen to me closely. What is inside you is powerful. It's sacred. It's not for public display. There are things, visions, struggles, blessings, strategies, strengths that you must protect fiercely. Because not everyone is equipped to handle your truth. Not everyone is ready to witness your growth. Not everyone has the purity of heart to stand beside you without judgment. That is why silence is your greatest weapon. That is why privacy is your greatest strength. The moment you let every voice into your process, you lose control of your own journey. I want you to imagine your life as a treasure chest. Inside it lies your dreams, your plans, your victories, and even your scars. If you throw open that chest for the world to see at the first knock, you expose your treasures to thieves. They may admire them, yes, but they will also try to take. And some of those thieves will not even know they are stealing. They will come disguised as advice, as concern, as friendship. But not everyone is here to build with you. Some are here to collect pieces of your peace. That is why you must learn to lock the chest until the right time, until the right people, until the right purpose. There will be seasons in your life when you will be tempted to share everything, to speak every thought, to reveal every plan, to expose every wound. But hear me now, not every season is a season for speaking. Not every moment is meant for exposure. Some seasons are meant for stillness. Some moments are meant for preparation. Some journeys require silence. It's not emptiness, it is strategy. It is your inner work being shaped without interruption. It is your vision being built away from distraction. You might wonder, oh, why must I hide my dreams? Why must I walk this path quietly? I'll tell you why. Because when you are chosen, your journey is precious. It is not ordinary. The greater your purpose, the greater the resistance you will face. And not all resistance comes in the form of obvious opposition. Sometimes it comes quietly, in doubt, in envy, in disguised criticism. If you share everything too early, you invite those forces into your process. You give them the power to influence your outcome. But if you walk quietly with discernment, with purpose, you protect your calling. I want you to remember this. Your life is not a reality show. It is not for constant exhibition. It is a mission, and a mission demands discipline. It demands discernment. It demands silence. The chosen ones and the loudest people aren't always the strongest. The strongest ones are often those who speak little, who work quietly, who trust their process without needing to broadcast it. Let me speak directly to your heart now. Guard your heart. Guard your peace. Guard your dreams. Do not give away what is meant to be built in private. Protect your struggles as if they were precious stones, because they are. Your wounds are the refining fire for your purpose. Your silence is the protection for your strength. Your discernment is the compass for your journey. There will be people who question your silence. They will say, "Why don't you share? Why don't you speak up?" But those voices are not your mission. Those voices are distraction. The chosen ones are not distracted by the noise of the crowd. They are focused on the voice inside, the voice that calls them forward, that reminds them where they started, that says, "Hey, keep going, even if no one is watching." That voice is your compass. It will guide you when everything around you is loud. It will keep you steady when storms try to shake your peace. You must learn to live for your calling, not for applause. You must live for your vision, not for validation. You must live for your purpose, not for permission. The chosen are not defined by who understands them. They are defined by who they are becoming. And that becoming often happens quietly. I want you to know this truth deeply. Your silence is not weakness. Your privacy is not secrecy. Your discernment is not arrogance. These are the marks of the chosen. Those who understand that their journey is not a performance, but a preparation. That their progress is not for public consumption, but for fulfillment. That their purpose is not to prove themselves until the appointed time. Until then. So I challenge you today, stand firm, walk quietly, guard fiercely what has been entrusted to you. Speak only when it matters. Share only when it's necessary. Protect your heart against distraction and delay your explanation until your work is complete. Because the chosen are not in a hurry. They know their timing is divine. They know their season is coming. They know that the right moment will make their silence louder than any words could. And when that moment comes, when your dream stands tall, when your blessing is in full bloom, when your purpose is fulfilled, the world will see the beauty of your quiet journey. They will see that your strength was built in silence, that your vision was guarded with care, and that your success was protected by patience. Remember this always. If you are chosen, you have been set apart for something extraordinary. That means your process is it. That means your struggles are your teachers. That means your silence is your strategy. Protect them, honor them, live them. Because the day you reveal what was once hidden will be the day the world realizes you were never ordinary, you were chosen, and that, my friend, is your power.